Hi, this is Curt and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
Let's start in Mississippi. Let me make clear before I go through these very familiar facts. These are allegations. This is a charge, so there's no finding of guilt. Everyone's presumed innocent, I suppose. But a Mississippi firefighter is now facing felony embezzlement charges from stealing from the Firefighters Association, which we think may be the union, not the fire company. We're not 100% sure, but I think that's what your thought is.
I don't think it's, I think whether it's a union, like some places down south don't have like an IAFF local, but they have an association because they can't bargain. Mississippi's got some collective bargaining, I believe. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, because I know I've been down in New Orleans. I've met with the New Orleans firefighters, and I know they have a union, IAFF local there. But in terms of bargaining, I'm not sure that they have the ability to bargain. So I'm guessing it's more in the nature of a fraternal organization, not a bargaining agent, but nonetheless.
Either way, we got a 28-year-old who, is accused of, not found guilty of, accused of stealing, embezzling. He was the treasurer for the association. First, he was placed on administrative leave. Then he was fired. The chief came out, if the chief was my client, chief, if you're listening, my 2 cents is I would have couched my statement a little more cautious to avoid some potential defamation claims if it turns out this person doesn't plead guilty or isn't found guilty. But what the chief does is good for the community, right? He's saying it's bothersome for me that this former employee, because they fired him, chose to forego the opportunity to ask for help from his OSFD family who trusted and respected him, but rather he chose to betray all of us by making a repetitive, conscious decision to steal. Now, I'm presuming they've caught him, but again,
I think he admitted it. One of the things that I read, there's a number of articles, but I think he basically admitted it.
Okay.
So now whether he attributed to some other issue that he may have, that when the chief said that it's bothersome that he didn't ask for help.
Well, that gives us a clue.
It does, so. But
I have a saying, I've probably said it on this show a million times. Bad times make good people do bad things. And I believe it. And that's what this kind of quote from the chief makes it sound like. That the treasurer was having some problems, saw there's some money there. Maybe he intended to return it, but that never happens. You dig a hole, you just keep digging. And he just kept taking, apparently, allegedly. So I caution people. This is just our repeating record, but I want to caution. Right. So you may trust with your life, your treasurer. That's fine. However, you don't know what's going on in their lives or their lives of their family. Maybe their wife is sick and they don't have health insurance. Maybe you don't know. Bad times make good people do bad things. And maybe that's what happened here. It's not about trust. You need to regularly review bank statements and audit bank statements. We can teach you as a person how to do this. Look, I have a checklist where I have a checklist to tell people how to do this and what to look for. A union or association probably doesn't have that much money or that many expenses every day where there's that hard to look at bank statements. You got to look. It's not about trust. It's right. If your treasurer is insulted that you ask to review bank statements and things like that, then they're probably stealing in the first place. Nobody should be insulted that you want to look over their work, but you cannot leave one person in charge of all this money and never look at what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just too big. It's too big a temptation for some people. Some people, they could be tempted at any time. Some people might have to be in a very bad place in their lives. Or have some other issues, and then that is, like you suggest, causes somebody who might not otherwise be inclined to do it. If we have the systems in place, they're less likely to do it. Right. And again, 2 areas where we see this. We see much more of this on the volunteer side, but we do see it in firefighter unions and other types of charitable events that firefighters end up, getting money from the community and the money's intended to do the right thing for the organization, but some people are in a position in their lives, or some people just have that, what psychologists call it the antisocial personality. I don't think that's not our bigger concern. Is somebody gets themselves in a situation and they see this as an option, and we've got to close that door.
Right. And what I don't understand, this will be the last thing I say about it, but what I don't understand is the fire service is so good on, like, firefighter close calls and things. We're so good about learning from our mistakes and creating education and investigations. And we're so good about looking into how to not let things happen again. Yet this one never is cured. Why aren't fire departments having their and unions, et cetera, having their books looked at? And it doesn't have to be an accountant who does a formal audit. We do these things all the time for our clients, where we go through the records, you look at the bills and the checks and the statements, and it will jump out at you unless they're really trying to hide something. Most of these are just straight checks written to somebody's self, or to their own, or to cash, or to whoever they owe money to. It is not that hard to find most of these. I don't understand why people don't look. Stop trusting your treasurer. A trustworthy treasurer does not want to be trusted. They want to be treated like they're not trusted, right? They would be like, look at everything I got. Happy to have you look. It gets me off the hook. Why are we doing this? Why are we blindly anyway, stop. Everyone needs to stop.